What is up, everybody? It's your boy Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns, and today we are coming at you with another movie recap. I just saw The Bikeriders a few days ago, and we're going to be diving into what happened in that movie. It is a spoiler review, so be warned. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want to be spoiled, click off. But the thing I can say about the movie so far in 2024 that I've seen, putting it nicely, it's the calm before the storm. There's a lot of good movies coming out in the second half of 2024. But with that being said, let's dive right in. So I should say to begin, this is based on a true story. It's about a motorcycle club in Chicago called the Vandals. Pretty cool story based in the 1960s. But we start off with a rival club at a bar with Austin Butler. He's come a long way since Zoe 101, folks. Long way since Pacific Coast Academy. And he's about to get beat up by these two rival clubs. But Benny, his name, stabs one of them in the face. And then it pauses as he was about to get nailed by like a shovel or something. And then it obviously goes into the story of this movie. We see Jodie Comer's character named Kathy, and we also get our first look at Tom Hardy and Michael Shannon in the movie. It was love at first sight for Kathy. She saw Benny, she's like, he doesn't look like the normal motorcycle kind of guy, but it was love at first sight. We see Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy introduces himself as Johnny, and he's also the president of the club. Tom Hardy's the main character in this movie, of course. Benny leaves the bar and convinces Kathy to get on his bike. Everybody's cheering. Everybody's so happy. They're like, oh, this is going to be great. Little do we know, Benny drops off Kathy, and Kathy has a boyfriend. And Kathy's boyfriend is not too happy with the fact that Benny drove her home. So Benny sits outside all night on his bike. Eventually morning comes. The boyfriend gets up. They're screaming at each other. He leaves. He gets in his pickup truck, yells something at Benny, and then it cuts to Kathy saying, and we were married 5 weeks later. Funny how that is. Fast forward a little. Benny is speeding down the road. The cops are after him, but Benny gets away. Benny shoots through two cars. As the cars are coming, the cops have to stop. Benny's free, it seems. And probably the only funny moment in this movie, Benny runs out of gas on the road. So Benny's just like, I've got nothing else to do. So he calmly gets off, sits on his bike, lights a cigarette, and as the cops come, you just see him, he's like, yep, I know I'm done. They start interviewing Kathy about how everyone joined the club. And at first, it was weird. Michael Shannon only said like one word, and I was like, is he even going to have a role in this movie? It got a little bigger, but I was still like, okay, you know. So we see one of the other group members, Big Jack. He challenges Johnny to a fight. And Johnny just says, knives or fists? Jack says, fists. Johnny says, okay. Johnny's getting beat up pretty good, but Johnny prevails in the end because they had a disagreement. We find out Zipko, Michael Shannon, that's his name in the movie, his brother is a pinko, which pretty much means he's an educated college boy. Zipko is a part of a motorcycle club, and he's all preppy and fancy and smart and all that. We go to the group gathering of clubs. Johnny is trying to calm down a situation between two of the groups. That's until Benny comes flying in because he thinks something's majorly wrong, and he just throws some haymakers. Brawl starts. Benny goes to punch somebody, puts his fist right through the glass. He pulls it out. There's a piece of glass sticking out of one of his fingers, and it's like, ooh, that's gotta hurt. And Benny just goes ballistic. He throws the guy to the ground and just beats him profusely until he gets ripped off of the guy. The fight ends. Zipko, the man of reason, somehow just says, all right, let's go get some beers. I lied. That was another funny moment, but there was only like 2 funny moments in this movie. So we go back to the beginning scene. Benny stabs the guy in the face. Then Benny gets hit with a shovel. That wasn't the worst of his issues that day. The guy goes behind him, sticks the pole through Benny's foot, just rips it, shatters Benny's foot, and Benny is out of it for a while. When Johnny finds out about this, Johnny loses his mind. Goes to the bar the two guys were at. He goes, I need their names and their addresses. Bartender says, I don't want any trouble. And Johnny says at first, you won't have any, just give me the names. Bartender gives the name and addresses. About a minute later, we see the bar is set on fire and it burns down. Johnny did lie a little. We go to see Benny. He's in a cast. His foot is shattered. Kathy, they're dating, doesn't want him to ride anymore. You could tell Benny is kind of on the fence, but Johnny clearly wants Benny to ride again. He's like, yeah, we got this thing coming up. You know, you can ride with one leg, yada, yada, yada. They're at a party now. We see a rider from Cali show up. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay, he finally showed up in this movie. I was waiting for him. For you Walking Dead fans, Norman Reedus, a.k.a. Funny Sonny. Johnny tells Benny that he can't run the club forever, and he kind of hints at Benny that he wants Benny to take it over. Eventually, Johnny unravels. He goes down a dark path, doing a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking. He's losing his friends. We see Brucey died after he collided with a car and face first into the windshield and blood and all that. They go to his funeral, and the parents did not want the club there, but Johnny did it anyway. Brucey's mother slaps him, and then the father says, get out of here. What are you doing here? You're not welcome. Then we see some of the other club, the Renegades. They're young, made their bikes. They want to join the Vandals. Tom Hardy says, Johnny says, I would do that a lot. He's like, yeah, I'll take you, but your friends can't join. And the guy was like, okay. And he's called the Kid in the movie. He doesn't have a name, so I'm just calling him the Kid. He says, you can join, but your friends can't. So the Kid walks forward, and Johnny's like, what is wrong with you? He's like, no, get out of here. You ain't joining. So the Kid goes to stab Johnny, but Johnny's boys are right there, and they put a whooping on the Renegades. More to come from that. Kathy gets attacked by another club at one of the parties because she switched dresses with a girl. Confusion, but yeah. Before anything gets really out of hand, Johnny puts an end to it. The dark path continues for Johnny. Johnny finds out that Cockroach wants to leave the group to become a cop. Johnny and Benny go to his house late, shoot him in the leg. I think they were trying to kill him, but they didn't really, because at the end of the movie, it turns out Cockroach actually became a cop. So, yeah. The older Renegades show up, and the Kid challenges Johnny. Johnny says, fists or knives? The Kid says, knives. Johnny says, okay, we'll meet in this parking lot tomorrow night. Then we find out that Benny left the club, left the city. He ain't coming back. So we thought. Johnny shows up with some of the group to the knife fight. The Renegades show up. The Kid shoots him at point blank range, killing Johnny, which kind of shocked me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't expect Tom Hardy to get gunned down in this movie. And after that, we find out the Kid ends up taking Johnny's spot, and he runs the group, the Vandals of Chicago. Crazy how that is. But you ain't gonna test that, Kid, so. And the other members knew that. So Benny eventually comes back and joins Kathy. Benny finds out Johnny was murdered. He's very upset. They're sitting on the porch. Fast forward a little, we find out Kathy and Benny moved to Florida. Kathy got him out of that gang. They're happy. Austin. Freudian slip there. Benny is working at his cousin's garage. The movie ends with Benny very creepily smiling with bikes going in the background. Now, I thought Benny was going to go out and kill the bikers. I don't know why. Benny's been a hothead the whole movie. But that's how the movie ends, folks. 6 out of 10. About as average of a movie as you can get. I give it 1 number higher because I like Tom Hardy. I like Michael Shannon. And I'm coming around to Austin Butler. Like I said, he has come a long way since Pacific Coast Academy. I did expect more from this movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst movie I've seen all year. Civil War. but I just thought it would be better with the cast they had. I don't know. Was I entertained? Yeah, but there were some very slow parts. Like I said, it's about an average movie as you can get. But my next video will be a Money in the Bank review. At the time of recording, the pay-per-view is this Saturday. Next up after that, and I'm going to rip this to shreds, be warned, a Gladiator 2 trailer reaction. I am not happy they're doing this, but you'll see that in a future video. But with that being said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Plenty of content coming, folks. I just told you my next 2 videos. But with that being said, I am Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns, and we will see you in the next one. Later.